When it comes to electric cars, nobody does it quite like Rich rebuilds. From salvaged Teslas to homemade Cyberquads and full-on electric rat rods, Rich isn't just building EVs. He's completely rewriting the rulebook. Today we're diving into his insane collection of DIY Teslas, Cybertruck clones, and electric muscle cars that are as wild as they sound. Now, you know Rich Rebuilds has built some crazy stuff. DIY Teslas, Cybertruck clones, you name it. But one of the absolute wildest rides in his EV collection has got to be his electric Model A rat rod. And now that's not a typo. We're talking about a 1930s rat rod getting Frankensteined into an EV, all by using parts from a wrecked electric motorcycle. It all started when Rich decided he was going to yank the old Chevy 305 V8 out of his rough-looking Model A he picked up. Now, if this was your typical Tesla project, you'd be slapping in some shiny Model S parts and calling it a day. But Rich being Rich, well, he knew it would cost a small fortune. So he did what any true budget builder would do. He hunted down a salvaged zero-electric motorcycle for about $3,200. The original plan was to fix the bike until he realized it was more of a hopeless junkyard relic than an easy win. But here's where the genius kicks in. Instead of giving up, Rich had a light bulb moment. Why not rip the good electric parts out of the busted bike and jam them into the rat rod? And that's exactly what he's doing. In the video accompanying the rebuild, he showed how he's custom building an adapter plate to bolt the motorcycle's electric motor right into the Model A's old transmission. It's part hot rod, part science experiment, and 100% Rich Rebuilds energy. Now, if you thought Rich Rebuild's electric Model A rat rod was wild, well, just wait until you hear about his take on Tesla's forgotten off-road toy, the Cyberquad. Yeah, you remember that thing? Tesla unveiled it alongside the Cybertruck, all angular, steel, and futuristic vibes, but then it just kind of vanished. Well, Rich wasn't gonna sit around waiting. Instead, he decided to build his own, using the classic Rich Rebuilds recipe. 1 part Facebook Marketplace sketchiness, 3 parts wrecked zero-electric motorcycles, and a heavy sprinkle of pure chaos. So here's the deal. Rich grabbed a Yamaha Raptor 700 quad, the same base Tesla allegedly used for the original Cyberquad, and said, let's make it electric. Sounds easy, right? Well, yeah. About that. The first zero motorcycle he used fried the battery. The second one damaged during unloading. The third time, though, that's the charm. And instead of tucking the motor neatly into the frame like Tesla did, Rich said nah and bolted it right onto the rear axle, short chain and all. It's a little heavier back there, sure, but with the Raptor suspension soaking it up and the serious power he's packed in, it barely mattered. And after sinking over $10,000 and almost a year of wrenching into this beast, the final result is absolutely insane. We are talking a top speed of 102 miles an hour, and honestly, it could probably go faster, but everyone involved decided they liked being alive. Plus, after a little sprocket swap, this thing can rocket from 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. That is supercar territory on a quad. And the best part? It's not just a quick sprint and dead battery situation. Rich's Cyberquad has plenty of juice to rip around all day. So, we've seen Rich Rebuilds bring old Teslas back from the dead before, but this next one? This one is just smart money. Rich picked up a wrecked Tesla Model 3 long-range dual motor at an insurance auction for just $17,000. And even though it was listed as non-running, Rich, being the Tesla whisperer that he is, got the thing to boot up and even charged the battery without too much drama. Total win. Now, instead of keeping it, Rich flipped it to his buddy Chad for $19,000. And this is where things get even better. Chad needed something for his brutal 200+ mile daily commute. And what better way to do it than in a Tesla for basically half the price of new? So he made a spreadsheet, emailed Tesla for parts, and get this. Some stuff was cheaper straight from Tesla than on eBay. He scored a bracket that usually goes for $70 to $80 for a $180 directly from Tesla. After pricing everything together and doing a test run at a supercharger, boom, Full power, full speed, 248 miles per hour charge rates. The rebuild was a total success, and when it was all said and done, Chad's cost came out to about $25,100, way less than the $49,990 it would have cost brand new. And the car, less than 4,000 miles on the clock, full V10 software update, and a looking mint. Honestly, this right here is peak Rich Rebuilds energy, showing the world you don't have to drop a fortune to drive a killer Tesla, if you're willing to put in the work. But before the Cyberquads and the Rat Rods, there was Dolores, the car that started it all. Rich's very first big project kicked off with a 2012 Tesla Model S that had been absolutely hammered by Superstorm Sandy. We're talking about water damage, dead fish inside, moldy leather, basically the stuff of nightmares. But Rich, well, he saw potential. He scooped up the flooded Model S for just $14,000, rolled up his sleeves, and got to work. He stripped the thing down to just the bones, junked the nastiness, and Frankensteined it back to life using parts from other wrecked Teslas. Oh, and of course, he gave it a proper name. Dolores, a nod to Westworld because honestly it was like bringing a machine back to life. And get this, after selling off the parts he didn't need, Rich's net cost ended up around $6,500. That's it. Sure, it doesn't include his hundreds of hours of, hobby time, but hey, when you love the work, it's worth it. Dolores wasn't just a cool project though, it was a spark that launched Rich Rebuild's YouTube fame and made him a face of the right to repair movement because yeah, Tesla wasn't exactly thrilled about him fixing their cars on his own. But that never stopped Rich. If anything, it just made him louder. And the rest, well, that's how one crazy rebuild turned into an entire DIY Tesla empire. Now, if you think Rich Rebuilds just woke up one day knowing how to bring Teslas back from the dead, think again. Before Dolores, before the Cyberquad madness, and there was a little learning curve. I'm talking about a 1970s Plymouth Satellite. Yeah, one of those classic muscle-bound coupes that has been completely transformed with a Tesla Model S motor under the hood. Normally, Rich doesn't go around checking out other people's EV conversions, it's just not really his thing. But this one meant it was impossible to ignore. The owner of this beast straight up ripped out the V8, not because the engine blew up or anything, just because he wanted a challenge. He wanted to learn something totally new, and what better way to do that than by electrifying a piece of American muscle history. Now, of course, the purists hated it. I mean, you mess with a classic and people act like you personally kicked their dog. They told him he, quote, removed the soul of the car. They said he ruined it, but here's the thing. When you see how well this thing rips, all that noise kinda just fades away. Also, it's kinda just a technological marvel. This Tesla-swapped satellite isn't just quick, it is a straight-up rocket ship. Thanks to the Model S rear subframe, brakes, and motor assembly tucked under there, and a few smart upgrades to the front brakes, this thing moves. Plus, it handles way better now as well. With the battery packs stuffed into the trunk, the weight balance is actually improved compared to stock. Oh, and because it's lighter than a full Model S, this monster bangs out mid-12-second quarter miles on the regular. Not bad for a ruined car, huh? The owner even kept it super streetable. We're talking electric windows, heated seats, the whole deal. Sure, there's no traction control or ABS, so you have to have a bit of guts to drive it when it gets chilly, but honestly, that just makes it even cooler. This satellite proves that not every EV swap has to be boring. Sometimes it's pure genius. Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more insane celebrity car collections. See you next time, gearheads.